morning. My name is Saj. I make small videos. I'm not a YouTuber yet, but I'm a writer. And I write about everyday ordinary things. I write about love a lot. I'm told that. And, well, you know what? I believe in my heart that love is everything. When we say or hear or even read the word LOVE, we think immediately about romance. But there is lots of kind of love. Love for even things and pets, kids, parents, friends, yourself. And yes, every love comes with an opportunity to love someone or something unconditionally and the risk of loss. I lost something very recently. I I'm not new to loss. I will tell you my personal story, but I'm not new to it. But this one shook the very ground I stand in. I have this book that I've been reading. I've read it a few times and I'm reading it again. It's called Non-Finite Loss and Grief. The thing is, grief is not linear. You're okay one moment and then the next moment you're on the floor, paralyzed, not being able to move. It happens. But that's part of life. Losing something and how hard it hits you really tells you something about how much you valued what you lost, isn't it? I had this quote once that I can't remember the source right now, but it goes as if you tell me what you are willing to risk, and I tell you what you value in life the most. When it comes to heart, we all have these walls because none of us want to feel pain. Come on, face it. It's uncomfortable. But what are we losing by keeping the walls up, by not being honest with ourselves? Okay, now I wanted to do this video about grief. I'm going through one. And this is an odd place for me to take a video. Um, it's 6:50 a.m. for me, I think. I'm in CST zone. But the thing is, I am moving today. I needed a fresh start. I have associative memory, meaning I associate everything around me, the senses. It triggers memories for me. The funny part about a romantic breakup is that, or any loss, is that um, things you see, you touch, you it just comes into your things will trigger memories. And that is very difficult when you are trying to move on, you are trying to grieve. And I figured the best solution at this point for me to be able to move on, to be able to take the next step in my life is just change the circumstances that I see immediately. At any process, anything like that, if you really want to move on, if you really want to start the process of grieving and accept it and all of that, it has to start with understanding what it is. And you have to take that uncomfortable step of understanding what exactly you're feeling. And most of us don't want to. Distractions are not gonna help. So when we grieve or when we lose, when we get dumped, when our hearts are broken, the This is what happens. We get caught between two different worlds. We get caught between because we are human beings. Our brain does have a negative bias, but we can always bypass it. Without hope, humanity would not be here where we are now. Without failure, we will not learn anything. So, the first thing I want to say to you, now I'm getting into the romantic category. The first thing I want to tell you is that your heart is not broken, your expectations are. And if you are not the one who broke your heart, of course you know. Okay, let me clarify that a little bit. Please forgive me because I am doing this ad hoc, no preparation, nothing. I just saw this book and then I had to talk about it. Weird, but that's who I am. Inspiration hits you in the head when you least expect it, right? So, if your heart is broken by yourself or somebody else, rephrase it to your heart is not broken, your expectation is. Most of the time, what we grieve is this I. It took me a week to figure this part out. What I am grieving is the hope, the loss of the hope of the things that I had planned in my head, that I was doing on a very daily basis with this other person. Now, I wish him the best. A major part of me understand that we were not a match. I was not a good fit for him. He was not a good fit for me. And that's a good place to be. Because you don't have anger, you don't have resentment, you accept that fact that what was it was good. And what you thought would be is now lost. And that's what your grief is about. Your heart is not broken. You're the same person before all of this. And this is a cliche, but I'm gonna say it. There is nothing wrong with any of us. If somebody doesn't choose us and we choose them, I love her. I loved this person. But he didn't. I wasn't his person. He was mine. And that's a tough pill to swallow. It was. And the way it ended, oh, whole new story. By the way, a poetry book is coming out, and I really do wanna all of you to read it. I'll make it open source, public. No, you don't have to pay for it. The moment I'm halfway through, and when it finishes, I will publish it with the links, and I hope you all read it. Rather, so there is nothing wrong with any of us. Well, at last census, what we are 7.5 billion people. There is someone for everyone. I have been in the US 20 years. I'm born and brought up in India for 22. Another 2 years, it's equal. People ask me, where are your roots from? My roots are from India. I have realized that a lot of my belief system, what makes me who I am, I take from my grandmother, my father, my mother. You see, I come from a long line of people who help others. Yes, I have been unlucky in love. Who hasn't? A mistake I did is that I settled for the little crumbs knowingly because that was enough for me at that time. There is one thing I don't condone is dishonesty and lack of loyalty and lack of keeping a word. As much as it hurts, I can sit here and tell you with an honest heart that what happened is the best thing for him, his new girlfriend, and me. Okay, back to the grief part. When we are grieving, we caught between two different worlds, even though our rational and logical brain understands what's going on. Our emotional part, which is less primitive, less developed, which is more primitive, it is all about feelings and all of it, it reacts at times. And emotions and feelings, trust me, they exist for a reason. Can you imagine if you don't feel like anything at all? But understanding where they stand and giving it a word, what you feel, giving it a word, defining it, helps you take the next step. And I mentioned this again, I'm going to repeat it again. Grieving is not a linear process. I'm sitting here making this video, and I'm not sure 5 hours from now I'll be on the floor eating ice cream. I have done that. Life is too precious. When you start a yoga practice, at the beginning you set an intention. The intention can be anything. There is a 30-minute yoga, and you can say this: I'm going to do my best today. I'm not going to push myself, but I'm just going to do my best. If I cannot do all 30 minutes, I will still stay on the mat for the 30 minutes. I'll just sit there. That's intention. So every day start with an intention. It doesn't it's in this concept of yoga I really like, which is that you don't force anything. You take it as it comes, but you sit with it. And that is, trust me, I can climb a mountain, but sitting without any distraction, without anything, just with your thoughts and feelings are a hard pill. Trust me, it is. But it is worth it. That is when your feelings will come up, your emotions will come up, and you can give it a name. You can tell as a person to it that I see you. Thank you for coming. I understand, but I also need to get past this. And since now I cannot just stay as long as you need, I'll be here. And when you're ready to go, I wish you the best. Sounds so stupid and simple, but it works. Every day you will make progress. Even though it doesn't feel like it, even though it feels like you just want to roll over and die. Oh my God, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. I said this 100 times yesterday. And I'm sure I will say it a few times today. But in between, you still have the power to choose to live. You can't between what was and what will be. But you are in what is. You have to figure out. Don't ignore the past. They're learning, like Buddha says. And then from the present, don't worry about the future, but look forward to it. The very fact that I'm sitting here and talking to you, the very fact that you're sitting there and watching me say these things, says that we have 100% success rate in surviving whatever life has thrown at us so far. So we are all going to be okay. There might be a few kicking and screaming involved, acceptable. There might be buckets of ice cream involved, acceptable. Angry emails, outbursts, and crying in the shower, crying in the floor, breaking a few plates or so, if I may. But we will be okay. So, I want to read this to you. Experiencing personal adversity brings individuals, often for the first time, face to face with the issue of how to regain a feeling of personal safety and equilibrium. Facing the fragile nature of one's personal reality is very frightening and demands camouflaging. Individuals believe there must be some guarantee that they can control what happens to them, that bad luck can be taken out of the equation, but it is not true. We dread the randomness of events, and it is a hard concept to accept. But acceptance is the key to living a good life. What is a good life? That's defined by you. I have to get back to packing because I am gonna have movers with a moving truck in a couple of hours. I want you all to know I love you all, and I hope this video helped you a little bit. A tiny bit. That's my only hope for this video. And I'll keep making them. Promise. Signing off.